What's up, y'all? This is right, it's your man, Karl Mayes, the King Motivator. It's another Wednesday, another day, another chance, not another day, another dollar, so I need you to keep focused on this. This episode is what I call a special episode. I get a lot of emails, a lot of people chiming in, just kind of asking, they want to know about my story. Why do I probably deserve, which is all 1 trillion of you all out there, deserve to be able to tell your story. Our stories create hope. They create an understanding. Your experiences are not in vain. So which means that you can't have experience without experience. So everything that you experience and you come through, you need to be able to make sure you testify. And you testify to millions. And testifying to millions gives hope because there are millions that are exactly like you or have been like you. So you use your story as a hope builder for other people and to make sure you give them an understanding that tomorrow will be greater than today. Now, this is my story, my story. Been through quite a bit. Just kind of give y'all an idea. And I'm going to kind of chop it down so I won't be long and drawn out. But to let you know, what you see now hasn't always been. What you see now is definitely an outcome of what happened. I am the little black boy from the hood trying to make it all good. I'm originally from Stop 6, Texas, Fort Worth, funky town. Stop 6, Fort Worth, Texas. Some of y'all might know it, some of you don't. Back in the day, we used to be on cops all the time. Yeah, I'm from some of those areas, just so that y'all know. But here's the funny thing. Had little moments, little shining moments of greatness. Had little moments of where I was almost done. Used to ride around with some friends, guns in the trunk, Y'all know at that time the popularization of Uzis and things like that. I was one of those people. But little bitty things like my dad's voice, my mom's voice here and there made me have opportunities where I stepped out the car. And there was one opportunity where I jumped in the car with some guys. We rolling. This is at 15. I was hooping all day on the court. Jumped in the car, rolling with these dudes. Something, a little voice might have told me, I don't know, I can't admit it at this point, hey, it's getting a little dark, you better get to the crib because your mama going to be tripping. I got out the car. Later on that night, I heard that 2 of them got shot and killed. The other 2 ended up going to jail. And the funny thing about it is recently, one of the other ones just died. It's just a piece of the story. Of course, when I look back in hindsight, I'm like, wow, he had his hand on me. This is why we had a King Motivator bands that say God first. Because one thing about it is, even in all that turmoil, I was still at a point where I kept him first. Now, let me take you a step further. I was always talented. I could rhyme, I could dance, I could kick it. I was good at what I did, but my dad was like, yo, you can do all that hibbity-hobbity stuff, but you were still going to take your butt to school. I ended up going to Prairie View A&M University, down in Prairie View, Texas, right outside of Houston, for those that don't know. Ended up doing a whole lot. I was a part of a rap group that put out several records. We did several things. We ended up, touring and having a good time being able to put the records out, and I was being pruned. I was also emceeing a lot of events. I was also at a point where I was being at a point where I did play-by-play announcing. I majored in communication. I finished with my bachelor's in radio television. I ended up going back, finishing a master's in counseling, a master's in sociology. I'm currently a doctoral student. But I can't get here if I don't have no desire. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just doing it. And because I was doing it, I had no fear. But somewhere in my life, in my grown man, I became fearful. I did all of that. Been on some of the biggest stages with some of the people out there that y'all know. Talked to some of the biggest organizations. I've been in a situation where I've been doing this for quite some time. I just never took it serious until now. But the funny thing about it is I was fearful of something. But it wasn't until about 5 years ago I ended up going through a bad divorce. It's okay. We did a thing. We disagreed on a few things, but the fact of the matter is, I ended up losing my house, my marriage. I ended up losing cars, things in my name, all in a very short time. Skidding down a hill so fast, I could not realize how did it come to a point that I was this grown and I was losing everything, even after I had accomplished so much. It's because I was at a point where I felt like I was being defined by what I accomplished. I ain't accomplished nothing. So don't ever get comfortable. I ended up losing everything. The only thing I kept was my car note, my insurance, a storage fee, and my cell phone bill. And yeah, I was working. Houston Community College. And I was working as a professor. And it's cool. And I couldn't find no way to be able to get back on my feet. And then, in the midst of all that, when I started my doctoral degree, right after the first month, a job that I had right before I worked at Houston Community College, I ended up being at a point where I was working on a research paper while being on the clock. Not going to even say the company's name. Not going to give them that much pride. But they ended up firing me 3 months later because of working on company time with something else. And then a year and a half later, in the midst of a divorce, I ended up getting charged by the state for a felony, which was tampering with governmental record while on company time. Charged. At that point, I didn't know what was happening. I had lost the house. I was losing all the cars. Or I lost the cars and was losing the house. And I don't know, in whatever order. But in the midst of that, I almost lost my freedom. But you know what? This is my story. Now, this is the same person that has attained all these degrees and has dodged bullets when he was young and has gotten to a situation now where he felt like he was great at what he did, but because he had gotten complacent, he had stopped reaching for what he was born to do. This was me. I didn't know it at that time. And in the midst of all of that, I had to be pruned and cleaned up. And then, being stripped of all of that, did not know that he was presenting me with what I was supposed to be doing. Some of you may be in this battle right now. You're in the storm. You can't see exactly what tomorrow holds for you. You want to stop. I say you got two things you can do. And there were moments where I would be in my car and I would be crying because I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't have anywhere to live. My sister and my brother lived in the same city, but they had their families. So there were moments where I would act like I was going out being somewhere, but I would go in my car and sleep because I did not want to disturb and disrupt other people's families, and at the same time did not need them in my business. I did not tell my parents. I didn't tell anybody. So for a while, I was at work, and then I would go home, and everybody would say, "Hey, Carl, we'll see you tomorrow." I'd be like, "Yeah, I'll see you guys." They're going home to very nice cooked meals. They're going home to children in a home and watching television. And I was going by my storage to get another suit or something else to be able to wear tomorrow and find somewhere to be able to take a bath and sit in my car and try to figure out how did I get here after attaining all of that. And this is a transformation. And this is being transparent. There are people out there. I was still getting booked around the country to MC major events. Super Bowls, All-Stars, big parties. So the transparency was that to them, I was living the life. But I was going back to sleep in the car. Nobody really knows the story, but they know it now. I am now unafraid. There was an afraid moment for me, and I didn't want people to know that. I walked into spots, and people would look and be excited about seeing me, but they didn't know exactly what was going through. There are some of you all out there right now that have a story just as similar or even more intriguing. My story doesn't mean anything. I don't want anybody to give me any accolades for it. I'm just telling you because you have to really understand that this is my story and I own it. I own it now. But guess what? I am going to make sure that I testify to all 3 trillion of y'all out there to let you know that if I come through, you can come through. The book right now that's being written is the 4 T's. Trial, tribulation, triumph, and testimony. And I have to let you know, stay tuned because it's here. And the funny thing about most of you all out there, you all are in intricate situations where you live for other people. I lived for other people but I will now live for me. Karl Mayes, the King Motivator. I know what I'm supposed to be doing now. Only two types of people in the world. There will be those that spend their entire lives trying to figure out what it is they're supposed to be doing, and then there will be those that spend their entire lives doing what they're supposed to be doing. 1 year ago, this day, this is why I'm doing this story. 1 year ago, this day, I was 319 pounds. I said, before I inspire the world, I must be able to change something about who I am. I was 319. Ladies and gentlemen, right now I'm 239. So yes, in 1 year, I've completely changed who I am, but I changed my mindset. I say, if you're not willing to change anything about who you are to get a different result, you will continue to get the same result. You can come up with all the grand ideas. You can come up with all the grand things that you feel like that will make you rich and will make you be able to take care of your families, but it does not make you exempt of any trial or tribulation. You will have them whether you have $1 billion or $1. You will have them. Be understanding of this. I am giving you hope. This is all it is. What I give you, I cannot worry about. The outcome. The outcome is on you. So at this particular point, this is my story. And this is only part of it. This is the short version. There will be those that will want to do interviews. Not a problem. I will give it to you. I will give it to you not for an accolade. I will give it to you not for a plaque on the wall. I will give it to you because I have to give it to you. There were moments that I would sit in my car and I would wonder, how did I get here? I would cry. A man, a street man, a man that has transformed his life. And I would sit there and I would cry and figure out, how did I get here? And there were moments in my time that I felt like I just wanted to lay down and give up. See, in those situations, you got two things you can do. You can either go crawl in the corner and cry, or you can get up, and you're going to have to get tough. And you're going to have to step out there, and you're going to have to make something happen. You're going to have to move the pride to the side and know that you are standing exactly where you're supposed to. So then there was a moment where I got to a point where I didn't care what nobody else thought, because all the people that I felt like I cared about what they thought had no care in me. And I was in my own bubble. And I had to figure it out. So that's why I came up with the structure. When I say, look, if you're the smartest one in your crew, you got to get a new crew. People don't respect nobody that's not doing anything, so you need to get up and make a do. Do your do. Do your do. And I'll say, stop making excuses, make ways. So let me tell y'all something. For the record, I don't care what you do. You get inside of you. I don't care what you challenge with. I don't care if that job you're working at every day, you go in every day defending your job, you really don't like it. You're just there. You're just there because it pays the bills. That means you are afraid to grow. You have a fear somewhere. I don't care what it is. If you're in that relationship and you know it's not complimenting who you are, it's taking more away from you, you're no good for that relationship. If you feel like you cannot move forward because you're too busy helping others, you're no good for them because you're not happy with where you are. These are the challenges that we're all in. This is why I come up with another day, another chance. Because you don't choose to wake yourself up. You're chosen to wake up. So you have to understand, if you tap yourself and wake up, you're crazy. You don't do that. You're asleep. You're asleep. But when you wake up and you're premised with the opportunity to be great, you need to go be great. I will not take any more shorts. I won't. Everything I do, I will work for as hard as I've ever worked. And I'm going to tell you something. It's because I've made excellence a habit. Y'all look. It's more from where this comes from. Stay locked on KingMotivator.com. And I got to let you know, it's another day, another chance. Don't you play with this. Don't you play with this. I'm the king. And yeah, if you ever want to come check out where I am, I'm going to keep the tour up on the page, and I don't care where we go. I will probably have something big in store. But yes, I am he, and he is me. Karl Mayes, the King Motivator. Once again, y'all, another day, another chance. Don't you ever say another day, another dollar. It's my time. See y'all next Wednesday. Now it's your time.